anatomical reference on the roundhouse kick, most of the muscles originate on the pubic bone and end at the top of the femur. So it would be about here to about there, maybe. These would be all the abductors and adductors. And then there's the sartorius, which goes from the top of the femur, or actually it would be the bottom of the pubic bone, all the way to the back of the knee. And that also helps in twisting the leg, rotating it. The muscles required to extend the leg range from the pubic bone all the way to the metatarsals of the foot. Rectus femoris is the longest of these, starting at the iliac spine and moving all the way to the knee, also called the patella. The vastus muscles go from the top of the femur to the patella. The iliopsoas only goes from the pubic bone to the top of the femur, whereas the fibularis bones start at the bottom of the leg on the fibula and end at the metatarsals of the foot. The extensors of the leg work in opposition to the flexors of the leg, starting with biceps femoris, which starts at the pubic bone and ends at the head of the fibula and tibula, so both shin bones. The gastrocnemius starts at the femur and ends all the way at the heel. Gluteus maximus starts at the sacrum and coccyx, which are pretty much your butt, and move all the way to the bottom or the middle of the femur, around here. Two other muscles used in flexion are the semimembranosus and the semitendinosus, and they both start at the ischial tuberosity, which is part of the pubic bone, and end at the tibia. The muscles responsible for rotating the leg, either medially or laterally, include the pectineus, obturator externus, quadratus femoris, sartorius, and tensor fasciae latae, all of which start at the pubic bone and end at the femur. Another part of the roundhouse kick would be the trunk bending, which would be caused by the internal and external abdominal obliques, which would be on the sides of your front. Moving on to the arm exercises, both the karate chop and the uppercut require straightening of the arm to some degree. Most of these muscles start at the glenohumeral fossa between the scapula and the humerus, and end somewhere at the humerus, or sometimes the lower half of the arm. One muscle in particular, latissimus dorsi, starts at the back and makes its way to the humerus. The others all start somewhere at the scapula, usually the inferior angle of the scapula, which is about there-ish, and they end at the tubercles of the humerus. Triceps brachii, on the other hand, starts at the back of the arm near the glenohumeral fossa and makes its way to the ulna, which is where the elbow starts. This is also coupled with the anconeus, which starts at the humerus and makes its way also to the ulna, which is where the elbow starts. This is where the difference between the two arm movements starts, because they require different amounts of extension to the hand. The hand is extended by extensor carpi radialis brevis and longus, which keeps the wrist straight, extensor carpi ulnaris, which also keeps the wrist straight, extensor digitorum, which keeps the fingers straight, and extensor pollicis longus, which keeps the thumb straight. All of the extensors are opposed by the flexors, which include biceps brachii, which brachioradialis, coracobrachialis, and flexor carpi radialis and flexor carpi ulnaris, all of which occur at the front of the arm. The flexor carpi is starting at the lower half, so at the forearm, and then the other four start at the glenohumeral fossa and end up at either the ulna or radius. Both of the arm movements require the scapula to move, levator scapulae being one that helps elevate the scapula. Pectoralis minor starts at the glenohumeral fossa and makes its way to the ribs. Rhomboides, major and minor, they start at the back, about the thoracic region of the back, and they hook on to the scapula to help move the scapulae towards each other or away from each other. And serratus anterior also is connected to the scapula, and it connects itself to the ribs. Trapezius is on the top of the neck, and that makes a trapezoid shape. It starts at the neck and ends all the way down, most of the way down the back, and makes wings at the scapula and parts of the humerus. There is also an amount of medial rotation associated with both the karate chop and the uppercut. The deltoid is one of the major factors in this, which connects the scapula to the humerus. Latissimus dorsi, which I have gone over, it is at the back and makes its way to the glenohumeral fossa. Pec major goes across the chest. It starts at the humerus and goes all the way across the chest to the other humerus to pull your arms together in front of you. Subscapularis, which I have gone over, is at the bottom of the scapula and makes its way to the humerus. And teres major also goes from the scapula to the humerus. These work in opposition with teres minor and infraspinatus, which pull the arms away from the center of your body.